I've been mad at God since 2014. From 2014, probably about 2021, I was upset, mad at God.
Hey, welcome to the Legin Podcast. Super glad you're here. I'm your host, Legin. I'm a rapper, I'm a speaker, and I'm really glad you're here with me. Thank you for being a part of hearing about why your story matters. That's the theme of this entire season. We are a member of the NRT Podcast Network. Special shout out to our sponsors, Aviation Institute of Maintenance, a nationwide school preparing people for the need in the aviation industry for mechanics. Has a big need, high-paying jobs, and they have day and evening classes with nationwide schools available. Check them out if you need a career change or a good opportunity. Also, in Hampton Roads, Centura College and Tidewater Tech are teaching people trades such as car maintenance and Tidewater Tech and other things like that, HVAC. But in Centura College, they're teaching people medical billing professions, massage therapy, and all types of trades, again, to get you a new career and a high-paying job with both day and evening shifts available. Check them out if you need a good career. Also shouting out Chick-Fil-A Broad Creek Crossing and North Military Highway in Norfolk, Virginia. I work really tight with this store. The food's amazing, as you know. They're also fantastic at taking care of their people and why they're doing it and who they're doing it for. They care about the community. If you need a good place to support or a good job to get, go check out Chick-Fil-A Broad Creek Crossing in Norfolk, Virginia. They're my folks. Today, we're joined by JB Harrison, who's my co-host, my second co-host, but also one of my best friends. I think he's my best friend. He may not feel that way, but whatever, he is. And he's got a great story today, a tough story about what he's been through, but it's good because of what he overcame and where he is today. And again, the theme is we want to inspire you that your story matters. So check out JB's story. Be reminded that your story, your journey matters tremendously. And I hope that you enjoy this episode of the Legin Podcast. Be sure to subscribe, give us a 5-star rating, leave some comments, share it with a friend. We just want to keep encouraging and inspiring people out here. But thanks for tapping in with me, and I'll see you in a bit.
Welcome to episode,
Is it 3?
it is 3, of the Legin Podcast. We're glad you're here. I'm going to get this out of the way now. Go like, subscribe, and 5-star all the things.
You should.
Episode may not be good. That's why we want you to like it first so we get your 5 stars before we get started.
That works. But it is going to be great.
It's going to be amazing. Welcome, and thank you for being here, man. I'm your host, Legin. Thanks for being a part of this. I'm excited to be with you, man. This is my co-host, Trevor Lucas, King Louis the third, Anomaly Art Student.
4th. Go ahead.
And my co-host, JB Harrison,
Oh,
the man, the myth, the legend.
Is he blanked out?
What up? Huh?
Is he blanked out?
Not yet. He's got a lot of pending cases. So Josh, make sure you put the, do the blur and change his voice. Change his voice. But keep the front end for blackmail purposes if he does decide to make some mistake.
Filter or something, man.
But definitely switch him off.
So excited to be here with you, man. And so if you listen to the first 2 episodes, we had the privilege to talk about, 1, why our story matters, including yours. And then 2, we went into a lot of stuff in culture that was important for us, like what the hypocritical message that we see and consume. And again, if this is your first time here, the reason we're doing this is because my name, Legin, is my name, Nigel, spelled backwards, right? And it just means Christ turned my life around. So the whole point of that is that we believe everything can turn around with the right worldview. Obviously, we think that's Christ, but we believe that even if you're not in Christ, there are principles from him you can use in your life that we hope you get to. And so we talk about everything here, and we're just going to go with stuff that we're dealing with, that we know other friends and people of ours are dealing with, and we just want to give some hope along the way.
Absolutely.
So I'm a rap artist, speaker, all that type of stuff. There are links below in the show notes to all the things, and love for you to be a part of that. So the best way to start, since we got a chance to tell our story in episode 1, go check them out, is one of my man JB to tell his story. This is one of my best friends, by the way.
Come on, JB.
We done traveled the world together, man. We done caused a lot of trouble together.
Yeah, definitely.
Him more than me, because that's why his face is like that.
That's why he has warrants.
Right. I'm safer. I'm safer. Yep. But this is my man right here. And I would love for you, my brother, tell us a little bit about tell us what you're doing first. What's life like? And then we'll get into your story.
Life, man.
Yeah, man.
Look, life is good for me, man. I got 5 kids. Remarried.
Okay.
And so life's good, man. I'm not doing as much entrepreneurship as I was. I got a 9-to-5 job.
Oh, really?
Checks are good.
There it is.
Good
checks are good.
Checks are
when
great.
you know you're gonna get them.
My man said entrepreneurship is awesome.
Making it rain on schedule.
But a check, check is better.
Yeah, the checks hit
Jesus.
right now. So I still do some stuff. I got a couple things in my back pocket.
Always.
As far as entrepreneurship goes. But right now, I work for the military, and I love what I do.
Yeah.
It's good, man.
What do you do?
It's good.
Is he getting too nosy
Top
right now?
secret. This is when the faces are out matters.
So no, I am what is called a multimedia specialist.
Okay.
And so that's just a glorified video editor. So I do documentaries, I do training videos, I interview. They call them SMEs.
I have no idea what that is.
Subject matter experts. When it comes to the military, everything's an acronym.
Yeah, that's true.
So we do interviews with them, and then we cut them up and do.
Wasn't that Captain Hook's right hand man name?
Smeeze?
Smee.
Captain. Oh,
Smee.
Yeah.
Didn't one is Smee?
Smee.
Huh?
Smeed.
With a D.
I think it had a D. Close.
Close.
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
So right now, that's what I'm doing, and I love it, man.
All right.
And it's crazy because during COVID, the job I was working before got shut down, and so I'm home. I'm still getting paid, so that was fine.
Yeah.
But I'm home and trying to figure out
What's next?
what's next.
Yeah.
And so talked to Talisha, my wife, and she was like, "Hey," because her center was shut down as well.
Childcare.
Childcare.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
she was running the childcare center. And so what she was like, well, I still have to have these quote unquote virtual tours for parents. So how can we put that together? And so I knew how to, a couple of different programs. So what I did, I jumped on a pay like $35. I learned a program and we put the video together. And then after COVID was kind of over in a sense, we got called back to work. And so during that time, since I learned this program and kind of boosted up my portfolio, applied for another position.
And you got it because
I got
that's
it.
dope.
Man.
Come
so,
on, man.
So just used it for what it's worth, man.
It's a time
And
of preparation. Is what
Yes, yeah, you gotta.
That time was crazy. Like you either sat on your hands or you picked up some skills, changed your worldview or something.
Yeah.
What entrepreneurship wise? Because that's what we linked up. What were you doing? What was it? What was the bulk of that for you?
Jeez, man.
Yeah, that's the interesting piece.
Entrepreneurship. I did a little everything. I did music management.
Yep. That's when I met you.
I did. Man, I had a record store.
Yep.
I had a radio show. I did podcasts. So I've done a lot of things, man. And
You're creative.
yeah. So I guess I was a creative before the term creative was big. It's a lot of people I know that were.
He created.
He created.
That's what he
Created.
said.
I got it.
You heard it.
That's not what I said.
It's 100% what he just said.
Say. So, but anyway, so I did those things before the word influencer was big. Like I knew a lot of people, including myself, that were doing stuff that kind of.
There you go.
Yeah, I stopped
created
playing, man.
influence.
See, come on.
Influencers and
Before the term was
creativity
before they
itself.
coined it something.
It's cool.
You know what I mean?
It's good. We heard you. It's great.
So, but
we're inspired. We're here because you.
I'm inspired by
Yeah,
it.
appreciate it. So I did a lot, man. Did a lot in the area. We did promotions, we did shows.
Yeah.
And so I just did a lot, man, and I enjoyed every single moment of it. But at this point in my life, man, I'm a little older. I've got a lot more responsibilities. And so knowing a check is going to hit every 2 weeks.
There it is.
It's nice.
It just,
And you ain't got to really chase after it.
gives more stability. And for me, I think ultimately when you have a family, especially when you have a family of my size, stability is key.
Starting lineup.
It's oh man, yeah.
Starting
We got a starting five. Man. We got a starting five, and they run from 24 all the way down to 3.
Ooh, wee.
Yeah,
Gambit.
listen, man. So
fresh out the oven, the owner of the bakery. They all over together.
So we got. There's a lot going on at my house. It's
a lot, bro.
So
Sounds like a lot of relationship.
it's a lot. It's a lot. Children,
Beautiful house though.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
children.
I'm going.
Great family.
Wife. Yeah. You're welcome. Yeah, well, you been there.
Yeah, I'm talking. I'm not even talking about the physical. The house is beautiful. I'm talking about the home, the family.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I give you
listen,
props for that. That's what we going today.
and that takes work.
Big work.
It takes. So outside of 9 to 5, That's my other job.
Yeah, that is the job.
That's
bro.
the job.
The 9 to 5.
That's what you go to the 9 to 5 for.
Big
Yeah.
facts.
So
Big
that
facts.
so yeah, man. So that's kind of where I've been and what I've been doing, man.
Dig it. So we did. I guess we'll get into this another time, but we did events. We did some promotion together. You were doing the promotion way before I was into it.
Yeah.
I was working as an artist, just trying to figure it out. Eventually, started producing and promote my own events. Eventually, we linked up. We did a few big ones together. That was good. We brought some guys in town. That went great. And then we ended up going to Africa together, doing this trip, starting stuff. Man. Safe House Project. Shout out to Christy and Brittany. Safe House Project exists now because of the initial trip we took to South Africa. Where like our heart got really arrested for the needs of these kids in this community.
I should have went. You asked me to go.
Yeah.
You asked me about it. Yep.
In the original.
Yep.
Yeah, you should.
And that's when I had a whole bunch going on and I couldn't. I kind of felt bad because it seemed I knew it was genuine. Just couldn't.
That's the season of when we talking about in breakfast.
Absolutely.
We had breakfast before this, as you know, before we film, we eat.
Good.
But because that VA show was like really going crazy for you.
Video show was crazy.
So yeah, man. So that was so that's interesting. But take me back, man. Take us back to your story before all that. Like where you come from, how'd you get here, and why do we have to blur your face?
Oh man.
Yes.
Well, we won't talk about. I can't talk about why my face is blurred.
This is where his face has to
We
blur.
can't do that. Okay. You know, I guess back in the day, you got to think if your face was in the post office, that was never a good thing.
Nah.
You know, and I might be dating myself. I don't know if they still do that or not.
They don't
know.
But they probably do for you, just to have an extra measure of if you catch this guy.
Yeah, if you see him and you just. So for me, man, it's been wild. I'm on my second marriage.
Okay.
I'm on my second marriage, and my second marriage, I have 2 bonus children, my daughters. And my daughters are 24 and 21. And they're good girls.
Yeah.
I had, prior to getting remarried, only thing I had was I had a son. Once we got remarried, then we had two additional boys. And so total of 5 kids. And it's been a journey. It has been a journey. I've never had to raise girls before. I had one son.
Gotcha.
And so now it's, raising girls. I have a new wife, and, I've got to, even figure her out. And so when you're going into this thing called relationship, especially when you've been married before, then you have what's called baggage.
Yeah, no doubt.
And so baggage should be a monster.
Yes, sir.
And you carrying all of them bags, all that luggage.
Especially when you don't know you got them.
Yes.
Because you got them.
Yes.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah.
Some people don't know they got them.
They either they don't know,
Or
they don't realize, or they don't acknowledge it.
That's it.
And so for us, we realized, look, we got baggage.
Yeah.
We're coming to this thing damaged, hurt, beat up.
Yeah.
For me,
TJ Maxx. Y'all was irregular.
hey man, that was good, man.
I feel like that.
Yeah.
And the ethereal flex are gonna live on way longer than they should.
That TJ Maxx line, man. That was, that TJ Maxx one was.
But if y'all want to sponsor this TJ Maxx, we will clip that out of the show. God
Take
bless
it
you.
Hey,
clean out of it.
Yes. So for me, I was married before.
You just screwed up a sponsorship opportunity.
Yeah, you messed that up.
Nah, it ain't over.
It's still early.
I love Marshalls.
Yeah.
Well, see that.
Go ahead, keep going.
Yeah, you might be missing. So I was married before, and being married before, my wife passed. She died from postpartum cardiomyopathy.
My God.
And so what it was she had a heart transplant before, and went on to get her second heart transplant because she outlived the first one.
Wow, I didn't even know that happened.
Because most people that get transplants, especially hearts,
Yeah.
they're not young. They're older people.
True.
And she was young when she got it, so she outlived the first heart. And so she was going to get the second one.
Crazy.
And she didn't make it through the second one.
My God.
And so for me, that was something I had to deal with.
Yeah.
So me.
How
and
long
at the
were y'all
time-
together before that happened?
Oh man, we were together. See, you messing me up now.
My bad.
Probably
Just
for
around
at least, I'm thinking maybe about 12 years.
Wow, bro.
And so it was tough, man. I
Yeah.
mean, that was a tough time. And And at the time we had a son.
Yeah.
And so one of the many things that I remember was the day at the hospital when I got the call that I had to go to the hospital. And at the end of the day, my responsibility was going to be to pull the plug. Wow. It was Mother's Day.
Are you kidding me, JB?
I had to go pick my son up from school.
Wow.
Well, actually, I'm sorry. It wasn't. It was Mother's Day weekend.
Okay, still.
So it was that Friday, I believe, before the Sunday.
Yeah.
Around that time. And so while the kids are there doing Mother's Day cards, I had to go pick him up from school.
Yeah.
Hey, man, we got to go to the hospital. I pick him up and I take him to the hospital. And at the end of the day, he's got to see his mother one last time.
Yep.
And not only just has to see his mother one last time, he's got to give her the Mother's Day card that he made for her.
My God.
And so, I mean, it's, bro, like,
I didn't know this part of the story.
oh,
bro.
man. It was, when I say trauma, when I say, dealing with pain and hurt, that's pain, man.
Yeah, bro.
That's the type of hurt that, and I'll be honest with you, only God can get you through.
Yeah.
That's it, man. I know that once she passed and we ended up moving back to Virginia, me and my son at the time, I'm taking him, I put him in the bed. And for me, my outlet was Call of Duty, gaming. Because at the time, that was the only thing that would take my mind off of her.
Yeah.
And so it was tough, man. And then those times that I wasn't playing a game, me like a dummy, I'm sitting in the house listening to Teddy Pendergrass.
I mean,
I miss you all the
Oh,
time.
no, not that
You know
one.
what I mean?
No.
You know, so
because they singing, they speaking
it's
for you,
all love,
but it ain't
sentimental,
like releasing.
Teddy
It's
P
like flogging
records.
yourself, for
Yeah.
real.
Yeah.
And so for me, it got to the point, man, I got to a dark space.
Yeah.
Depressed, to the point, thoughts of suicide became regular.
Yeah.
One of the saving graces for me was the fact that I knew and I realized that I had my son at the time. And he couldn't deal with both parents being gone.
And he needs your example of strength through this.
Yeah. And, but the crazy piece is at that time, I really didn't have it.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah, but like how you stayed for him, but you didn't feel strong for him. Like, what was the balance of, I'm here for you, but I don't know if I have what you need right now?
That's a good question, man. I think for me is I made sure that I surrounded myself with certain people that I knew. So when I couldn't pray and when I couldn't talk to God, they were doing it for me.
That's good. That's good.
Because when I was at the hospital with my wife at the time, my mother called me one day and she said, "Hey, baby, are you still praying?" And I told my mom, I said, "Look, Mom," I said, "God ain't hearing me no more. I'm going to need for you to pray for me."
Okay.
Because I can't. I said, because at this point, it doesn't make sense for me to pray any longer.
Right.
Because God's not listening. He don't hear my prayers. Why? I don't know.
That's how you felt.
That's how I felt. Because for me, every morning, I would get a call from the hospital. And it would always be something, her breathing stopped. She had a blood clot.
So this stretched out over time. This wasn't like y'all went there Friday and it was
No,
over.
because originally she went for the transplant. And so when she went to get the transplant, and I'll just, I'll be upfront and honest, when she went to get it, we're there at the hospital waiting for the doctors to come out and say everything is good. Instead, they came out and told us, well, hey, look, her blood pressure spiked. So right now, we can't do the transplant.
Right.
So in other words, we've got to leave her on this table with her chest open.
Oh, wow.
Now, mind you.
Until the blood pressure goes down.
Right. This is the second transplant. I've seen her through the first one.
Yeah.
With the healing process. So, just to be graphic, when you get a heart transplant, they got to break your chest. They got to cut your chest.
Cut your ribs.
They got to break your ribs and all that. And so when she's out of the hospital, I'm there for the healing process. you know, she's laying in the bed where she can hardly move.
Yep.
You know, but
can't even turn over. Yeah.
But she got to the place where she was healed and good. Yeah. But once again, she outlived it. So now it's, you know, we back at it again. Dang. And so that second time, she just, you know, I got a call from the hospital because they said she had blood clot. And so, you know, we're doing everything that we know to do and what the doctors are saying. I get a call the next morning. Hey, what we thought was going to work didn't work. We're going to have to amputate her leg. And I'm like, what do you mean?
We get to this, right?
Right. We did what we thought was going to need to be done. And they were like, yeah, we thought, but, you know, this is going to be the best thing in order for her to survive. And I had to make that decision.
Dang, yeah.
That was a choice, and everything fell on me.
Yep.
I wasn't ready for that.
Yeah.
That wasn't any. When you marry somebody, you don't think you sign up for stuff like that.
Nah, you say for better or for
right.
worse.
You don't think
you hear
that
could be.
But you don't know what the worst can be.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so, you know, every day I'm getting calls from the doctor. So it got to the point when sometimes I didn't even want to wake up.
Yeah,
because I knew I was going to get a call from the hospital. And so for me, man, it's when you talk about a journey, it was a journey, man. And it's crazy, man, because I just did a message at my church. And I started off the message with, I've been mad at God since 2014. From 2014, probably about 2021, I was upset, mad at God because I felt as though the prayers that I prayed, he didn't answer. And so that piece took me so many different directions in my life from 2014 to 2021. And finally, I've got to a place, you know, and it takes good people. It takes a really good, solid church. I'm telling you, man. And it also takes you really working and getting your relationship with God. You got to get that right, man. And so for me, I'm finally at a place. Look, I'm at a place right now where I can have this conversation with you guys and everybody else and not break down and cry. Because I realize now for me, it's about praying God's will. You know, a lot of times our prayers are so selfish.
Yeah. Always pray.
You know, and look, man, and I know y'all like, yo, is this this the same? Yeah, this the same JB, man. Like it's me, man. Things have definitely changed for me and turned around. But I know for me, moving forward, it's about, you know, regardless of what it looks like and how it may hurt or whatever, you can't always pray your own prayer. You can't, them selfish prayers, man. And I think a lot of times our prayers are so selfish. And at the end of the day, those prayers aren't about God's will. Yeah. Because sometimes God's will is not what we want.
They're just what you want.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And so, you know, we're like kids sometimes, man. When we don't get what we want, we pout.
Yep.
We get mad.
Yep.
You know, we get upset. And we take it out on whoever we can.
Yeah. We've done that with our parents. You know, people got good parents and they telling them something that's right, you know what I'm saying, or something outside of what they want.
Right.
We pout, and some people carry a grudge with their parents. Yes. That's the same thing with God. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to always understand.
Right.
One thing about our parents, having a daughter, we've been here much longer. You know what I'm saying? We've experienced some things in life that we can bring back to them. Yeah. So just think about the eternal God and what he's seen, experienced, and what he knows ahead of time.
Yeah. I've seen this story before.
Yeah.
Right.
Just let me let you play a part.
Yeah. So for me, man, it was definitely a process.
Yeah.
Dealing with unforgiveness. And it's crazy, man, because not only dealing with unforgiveness, you know, when you think of unforgiveness, you think of unforgiveness with your sister, your brother, friend of yours, whatever. I had to deal with unforgiveness with the Creator, with God.
Crazy.
That's a whole different thing.
Whole another
man.
piece, man.
The whole creator of forgiveness.
And,
yeah, man.
And it's understandable though, because like,
yeah.
if you did have tears today, that's understandable.
Yep.
Yeah.
Being mad at God is understandable.
Yep.
Struggling with life
Yeah.
and like, is it better if I exit? Is understandable. But when you're grounded on something that's out, all the answers that really hold us down in this life are transcendent of this life.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? When you got something that's grounded you like beyond, even if it's as simple, quote unquote, it's not simple, but as simple as y'all, I can't give up because a life outside of mine matters more than what I'm feeling right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then even when those transcendent answers are God himself, like, this doesn't make sense. I don't understand reality at the moment, but the creator is calling me to something I gotta hang on. Those are the things that keep you, because everything else is subjective. It changes with emotions and trauma and stuff. And those things are real. And I'm not being facetious, but like when the answers are transcendent and your grounding is outside of yourself, you got something to live for beyond just yourself. You know what I'm thinking about, man, through this whole, because we was with you during that time, man. And I still miss Leslie. Like, I still hear her voice, bro. And we go back and forth in the chat. But but like, you know what I remember? Like, as soon as you brought it up, shout out to Sean Slaughter. I remember the Heart of Gold joint he did.
I remember Sean
Spoken
Slaughter.
Word. Yeah. Sean's a homie. Sean sold me my house.
Really?
Yeah, man. He in real estate, killing the game.
Sean said something to me that sticks with me to this day. I called him one day and I was just talking. And I said, "Look, man, I'm gonna be honest with you. I've been thinking about just offing myself. So there's been, when I was working in Newport News, and at the time, my son Yasir and Leslie were in Maryland, and so I'd get off my job at like maybe 10 o'clock at night, and I'd drive to Maryland for the weekend to be with them, and so it got overwhelming. And it got to the place to where I called them one day and I was like, "Look, man, I don't think I can do this much longer." I said, "I really am. I've seen myself driving across this bridge and just grabbing that wheel, throwing it to the right, and just off the side. I've seen it. I've seen myself drifting over to the left on purpose, head on, and just being done." And so he said, he prayed and he said, "But one thing you got to understand and realize is suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem."
That's good.
Bro, that thing stuck.
That's good.
It stuck with me and stuck with me to this day.
Crazy good.
Because the issues that we have and those problems are only temporary.
Yep.
But if you can't see through the other side, and you, for whatever reason, it's like, I can't take it no more.
Yeah.
And then you got to think, well, now what kind of problems do I create for other people?
Yeah.
What do you think, with at the time, Yasir, my oldest son, what would he have to deal with? One, his mother dying in the hospital, from that situation. But then now his dad killing himself. Like, what would that have done to him? What would that have done to my parents? My sisters, my friends.
Right.
You know what I mean? How much would that have put on them? Well, dag, man, why weren't we there to help him? Why didn't he call, or why didn't I do such and such?
Or why didn't he care about me enough to, you know what I'm saying? I got a friend of mine right now whose father committed suicide.
Yeah.
He's still mad at him for the reason of you didn't care enough.
Right. Yeah.
So it could be taken a lot of different ways.
Yeah. So two things on that is, one, thanks for the bravery of sharing all that, because absolutely you shared details. Now I didn't even know.
Yeah.
And I think two things we hope. One, if you've lost somebody to suicide, or you've lost somebody to suicide, and all the thoughts from sadness to rage to whatever they can pop up. One, we're not jabbing at them for being weak.
No.
You know what I mean? Because one decision and Jay was gone. You know what I'm saying? So like, he's being very transparent with that, I think. And if I'm not trying to speak for you, so jump in if I'm saying something wrong. But like,
yeah, don't speak for me, man.
Well, blur his face out.
Blur his face again.
Fix the audio.
You good? Yeah.
But we don't know the pressures people face on their own in their head.
That's a fact.
And never would judge somebody for those decisions. 2, if that is you and that's a decision that you're thinking about, contemplating, going through, or have experienced, we're praying this conversation saves your life.
Yes.
And that you will realize that you're much more valuable and important than you feel, realize, or even comprehend at the moment. And we need you here.
Yes.
We don't. If you leave, we're worse off because you're gone, and we're never going to get you back.
Yes.
There's blessings for you and others on the other side of this.
Big facts.
Yeah.
So, so even if you don't feel it, please hang on. There's somebody's life who's going to benefit from you being here. Your trauma can heal. Find some therapy, some professional counseling, a good church, something. Please hang on, because we want this to save your life.
And at the end of the day, a lot of people, they go through these situations, and the first things they ask is, well, why me? Why me? God, why me? Why
Valid
me?
question.
Why me? And so for me, my thought process is, it's you, because once you're able to get on the other side of this thing, there's so many people that you're going to be able to help.
That's a fact.
Right.
That you're going to be able to have a conversation. It's hard to have a conversation with somebody about smoking crack
if they ain't never smoked crack. You're being qualified by being a crack smoker.
Yeah. That's real hard to do. And so for me, being able to talk to somebody about losing a spouse. And not only losing a spouse, but then being able to make it through to where now I'm remarried.
A lot of people can't even see that far ahead in the game.
Remarried,
You can show it.
loving wife. A loving family.
Shout out to Leisha.
Yeah, babe. Hey, babe. I got all these cameras. Hey,
look at that when you get the brownie points that you're trying to reach for.
Hey, babe. Hey. So, but a loving family, a loving wife, but understanding. And so then the other piece is this, and it kind of goes to the relationship piece. Well, now I've taken all of that baggage, and not to make light of it, but it is. I'm carrying all of that to my new relationship. And so now my new wife has to deal with
the residue,
the fallout, the times around, I'm gonna say around certain times of the year where I would go into depression.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? When when it's around the time where she passed. Well, or if it's around the time of her birthday.
Anniversary.
So all of those things. Now my new wife and family. Because it's not just her, but all of them got to deal with that.
Have to deal with very real feelings from a previous relationship. And not be salty about that. And deal with the present. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot to process.
One thing I'll say about Talisha, my wife now, is she navigated through all of that and gave me the space that I needed to heal in spite of the hurt and pain that it caused her.
I ain't never met her, but she a G for that.
But understand. Now she's a G. She can be a thug at times if she need to be.
Can thug it out.
Is. Well, can turn green like the Hulk, But but definitely,
because he's right. I'm
he
got to go home in 3 hours.
But she has learned how to navigate through that piece. And we had a conversation just the other day, and she was like, I just need you to know and understand that it was hard. It was hard for me, one, to see and watch you have to go through all of that, but then two, watch you and know that at the end of the day, sometimes your love for Leslie was stronger than the love that you had for me.
God.
And it hurt. But it made me realize and understand who I had.
That's good.
And that was tough. And so it just goes back to the piece when it comes to relationships and baggage and luggage, what we take. And that's just my piece. But understand, like, you know, all of us as men, we've had relationships in the past.
Yep.
Right.
And now we moved on to another relationship. But sometimes that same lack of trust,
Yep.
if we were addicted to porn in one relationship, that don't mean now that we in a new one that you're not bringing that with you.
Right.
The hurt, the pain that you may have experienced in a previous relationship.
Your distorted worldview because of what you were a part of or done.
All of that goes with you.
Yep.
Because you don't drop it off somewhere else.
Yeah.
We're all a sum of our past experiences. All of us, good or bad.
Good or bad.
Yeah.
But is this supposed to be about relationships?
I'm gonna put a pin in that. We're gonna make that number 4. I want to stay here for this because I want to go back to the why me. This is now like the other side of suicide.
Yeah.
Right. But what caused the thoughts of that is why me? What am I going through? Where's God in this? I think that's where we need to kind of stay and land on this today. You got it? But finish what you were saying though real quick.
No, I was just saying that, you know, in general, everyone is a sum of their past experiences. Even the stuff that you like, the women you like, the guys you like, it's a sum of your previous lust.
Right. Yeah,
it's just how we wired.
Right.
But if we choose to get into a relationship with somebody, this is the wisdom that I learned later. Because when you're younger, as a man, I'm trying to deal with this. Let me handle this. I got this. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But if I'm going to choose to do life with you, now that I understand that I brought some baggage in the door, it's only fair that we sit all this luggage on the bed and we open this up and fold this up.
Got to unpack it.
Unpack this together.
You can't take it. You can't take that luggage and put it under the bed.
You can't do it because she's going to run into it.
Yeah, she's going to trip eventually.
She's going to run into it. And if she ain't seen it before.
And you ain't tell her it was there.
Right.
So this is the benefit to what you were saying earlier about, you know, we've been here before.
Yeah.
Right? Yep. It's the benefit of having older wisdom in your life.
Yep.
And people you can learn from in your life. Because when you 15, 20, 25 going through something for the first time, this is the end of the road. It wasn't supposed to be this way. This is so much fun. I can't see the downside of what I'm doing.
Right.
And you got somebody.
We passed that.
You got somebody that's 20 years your senior be like, let me tell you how this ends.
Right. There you go.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And when you're not willing to listen to that, or if the older people in your life are not mature enough to the point they're giving you, they still trying to do the same. You don't have anybody to learn to or listen from.
Problematic.
You tripping over everything else. And it's like, how do you learn from, how do you know, how does Sean call and say, this is a permanent solution to a temporary problem? Because right now, this problem feels permanent.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the piece when you were saying the why me, and I think that's where we need to stay and wrap up with this. Like, we need to stay here for a minute.
Okay.
The why me, the processing the trauma in the moment when you can't see tomorrow, and how you hold on just to get through to tomorrow, because tomorrow is coming.
It is.
Yeah.
But it seems a long way away when you're going through.
Bro, when you in today, and today is dark.
Yes, sir.
It's like,
been dark all day. I don't know when the sun comes.
I don't know, bro. Yep. Like, you know what I'm saying? All it's going to do is go into the nighttime. So like, what's the point of? So what do you say to somebody who is in the same space you was at, with they're thinking about, you know what, to make this end, I can just drift over to the left. You know what I mean? And hit this traffic and it's over. And everybody gonna think it was an accident. I got insurance, my kid's gonna be fine. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? What do you say to them as far as the why me and life wasn't supposed to go this way? And,
I think at the end of the day, life is always gonna be better with you than without you. I think that, you know, when you're going through stuff like that, trauma, however traumatic it is, it gives you the opportunity for all of you guys, whoever's a part of the family, to heal together. Healing together is probably the best thing that can happen in comparison to you choosing one not to be here anymore.
Right.
And then you leaving somebody else, in a sense, to have to deal with everything that goes with, you know, you're gone, and whoever else was gone as well. And that you've left them here to kind of pick up those pieces. And it's one of those things to where it's much better for everyone to be able to become whole.
Yeah.
Than at some place or no one is made whole.
Right.
Because it's going to be really hard.
Everyone's broken now.
Yes.
Not just you. Now everybody's broken.
Everybody's broken.
Yep.
And even if it isn't being consciously done selfishly.
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of times on the flip, we'll look at somebody and say, man, they were selfish because they,
Right.
right? And maybe they were. But like sometimes maybe it's so cloudy, they just can't see
it's
it.
the
Right.
picture. Yeah,
and
And you're not trying to leave somebody with your stuff like, well, I ain't got to deal with it. Like you can't put that on somebody.
you've got to get to the place, you've got to realize that whatever this is only temporary.
No matter how bad it is.
I don't care how bad it is.
It all has an expiration date.
It's only temporary.
That's why Christ is important, because he already said we're gonna run into this stuff, and he already said that it's temporary.
In this world, you will have trouble.
Going to.
I promise.
If anybody preaching that you go to church and you follow Jesus and all of your problems are solved,
Bro,
get out of there.
if anybody
That's not how it
says
works.
the amount of your offering you increase, God gonna do this for you, like you can buy God, leave. Your
Get out
pastor
of
is
there.
lying to you.
Yes.
Because he flipped a whole lot of scriptures out the way to get to that
did.
point.
And that's it, man.
I have zero sympathy for that. Leave.
Yeah. But it's at the end of the day, whatever you're going through, and you may not, you may not be able to see the light at the end of the tunnel, or if you see the light in your brain, you think it's a train.
Dang.
Wow.
That's not what it is.
Yeah.
It's
an incredible picture.
it's only temporary, and now understand me saying only temporary. Temporary may seem like a lifetime.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing. For some people, when I'm saying temporary,
It don't mean temporary ain't long.
No,
because understand, like,
you said 2014.
this was 2014,
2021.
2021.
Okay, there you go.
And now we're in 2023. And do I still get sad? Yes.
Yeah.
Do I still miss her at times? Yes. I do.
You lost your best friend.
Yes. And so it's not like, that it's just gonna, you'll be healed, done, and no, but understand, like, it's only temporary. You can get through it. And I think that's the key. You're able to get through it, but it's gonna take some work.
Yeah.
It's definitely gonna take you surrounding yourself. You've got to surround yourself with the right people.
Yeah.
That's key. And at this point, if you don't feel like you can pray, if you don't feel like you can talk to God, you don't feel like God's hearing your prayers, then you get around some people that God hear their prayers.
Yeah. And they're gonna do it for you.
And get them to pray for you.
Yeah. Until you get the strength.
And it'll trust and believe.
I don't think God's sitting around here. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
No, you good. Go ahead.
I don't feel like God's sitting around angry at you today because you didn't repeat the incantation to say the things that prove you. Like if you're struggling, I think God values your realness more than he does emotions.
He does, because he knows.
He knows, man. He knows. He's been through an incarnation of himself and has been through every temptation. Right? In the flesh. In a mystical way that we can't fathom. Right. Like we just don't understand fully God, fully man at the same time. We don't get that. I don't think we can comprehend that. But literally went through everything to identify with everything, while at the same time offering the solution to everything in the flesh. So like that's the beauty of Christ and who he is. Christ is either God or not. He either told the truth or he lied about it. But you got to pick. I think Jesus was very clear about the fact that he is God. Just to be clear where I stand and where we stand on that. But literally going through everything, experiencing the Father in another way. I don't want to go through this. Can we do something different? Not my will, to your point, yours. And so like, that's the Savior that is like, I understand in his leaning. So when you can't go through the motions, when you don't even want to look at a church, I think God is there with a great amount of grace that you can't fathom religiously.
Absolutely.
With the arms wide open. But You're gonna surround yourself because you're gonna be with people. Don't isolate first.
No, don't isolate
And
yourself.
when you get with people, get with the right people. Don't get with the
devil
person.
can speak so loud when you by yourself, just you and him.
There's no other voices.
Understand? He gonna talk to you.
Megaphones.
One thing about it is, you choose whatever you choose to do. You choose, all right, I'm mad at God, and I can't see, I can't talk to them, I can't whatever. Understand? Somebody gonna talk.
Yep.
Somebody's gonna have a conversation with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even if it's yourself.
Yeah.
Teddy Pendergrass was talking. You know what I'm saying? Whoever you want to listen to.
Yeah.
And I think we talked about this before we started. Through the good and the bad, a righteous man's steps are ordered by the Lord. But what if, when you're going through the bad, they're ordered by your favorite musician, by your news station, your politician, this friend that that come over that want to roll up a blunt every time. You know what I mean? What if your steps are ordered by something else? So,
if the voices you're listening to for your temporary pain can only offer you further temporary relief, they're not the best voices to listen to.
Absolutely.
Or if they're just an echo chamber for the pain, but there's no solution to what they're bringing, whether music, worldview, whatever. You got to really be like, hey man, like so the benefit to good community. In this world, you will have trouble. It's coming, right? The struggle's coming.
It's scriptural.
It's coming.
This is in the Bible. You're going to have trouble. Absolutely.
It's coming. So if it's coming, the practice of healthy community beforehand.
It's important.
Because you're not going to put together healthy community after it happens or whatever it is. But if you have built a habit of, you know what, I need these type of voices around. I need this type of worldview around me. I need this type of place to go to. When tragedy strikes, when struggle happens, when the dark days come, you already have in place the people who can hold you up. Because you ain't gonna have the strength to build it then. But if you've got it already, and it's a practice and a habit of life of living in it, it's already there. And then God forbid when you fall, somebody's right there to pray for you, pick you up.
And for me, I had that, that community was already in place.
Right. That kept you from the left, going left.
Bro, we had a great circle of people and individuals that we surrounded ourselves with, that we talked to all the time.
You're welcome.
Had us over
in the episode. We're good.
We had them over at the house and everything. And so when that process began, I was able to make calls, send out text messages. And we're talking about I'm at the hospital in Baltimore. I had friends that came up, on a like that, and were there. And so, it goes back to a community, and then two, kind of circle back, not just what you were saying as far as God being there to welcome you back in, arms wide open, no questions asked.
That's absolutely.
You know what I mean? He's not going to remind you, you know what, man, just a couple of days ago, you ain't had nothing, you ain't had nothing to talk to me about. Now you coming back?
Right.
And so for me, and you know me, prior to this, man, like, I love, understand, I love the Lord, but I never wanted to be that type of dude when it came to Christianity.
Right. Oh, was just too heaven bound to be in the earth?
I never wanted to be that guy. I never, like I said, Sunday, I did a message at my church. Look, my expectation, I never wanted to be in the pulpit. Delivering a message on a Sunday morning. I've always been that dude, the background, let me just do what I do. But just knowing, man, that I'm at a place, man, like I can honestly say today, from 2014, 2021, the fact that I didn't think God heard me, I didn't think he was fooling with me, none of that. I'm at a place today, man, that I know God hears every one of my prayers and understand. Wow. And the crazy piece is, not only does he hear them, he responds. And for me, understand, man, cats that know me, if y'all sitting here looking at this and trying to figure out if this the same dude, understand it's the same guy. It's the same J.B. Harrison. It's the same J.B. Harrison from, back in the day. But I know, man, I and I say this all the time. I know that God hears me. I know he hears my prayers and responds. And so, while you got a whole bunch of people, we talked about this and that, are kind of on the fence and just trying to figure stuff out and blah, blah, blah. Look, man.
Little universe, sage burning.
Oh my gosh, yo. Like, and granted, sorry. I can't, you know what I'm saying?
You know what? I can be petty in the name of Christ.
Can be.
So I'll be honest with you. Me and Nigel have had some petty conversations.
Petty, bro.
Phone, text. And you were included on a couple of them. With the lunch. And so.
Like PhD level petty.
Yeah.
We professionals.
That's the best petty.
Next level up.
But just.
Ivory League petty.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But just understanding, man, that I'm at a place, man, I'm at a place in my life where, one, I have to, I got to depend on God for stuff, man.
Yeah.
If I'm out here trying to do it by myself, I'm not going to move right.
Yeah.
And it's not going to work out.
And that's just through experience.
I got 5 kids. I got a wife. I got a dog that's got allergies.
It's crazy.
You know what I'm saying?
It's a crazy situation. That's a whole episode.
It's a lot, man. It's a lot. I got grown kids. I got little kids.
This podcast needs Zyrtec.
It was the level of importance that the allergies took with everything else.
I understand.
With allergies, okay?
I got a daughter. I have my youngest daughter right now is away. She's down at Auburn playing basketball.
Good basketball.
Playing ball.
Monster.
Playing ball.
Taught her everything she knows.
Playing ball. And so, she's not here. We can't, she was in Missouri before that. We can't reach her. We can't physically reach her if we need to. But understand, so my life, the life that we live right now is tough enough.
Yeah.
And imagine how hard it would be, man, if we ain't have me and my wife, but then also have a God that we could call on that we know is going to respond, man.
Absolutely. It's not wood and stone. It's actually going to say something.
Bro.
Man, look, that's what we're going to end it, because you're ending it with the overarching theme.
Absolutely.
That all things can turn around. All things can turn around.
Yep.
In Christ, everything can turn around and be where it needs to be.
Yep.
So again, if this is your story, a similar story, or somebody you know's story, if we just can communicate one thing, your story matters no matter how dark it is, no matter what you've been through. Yeah. No matter if you feel like you have hope to offer or you're offering hope and just going through the human experience, your story matters and everything can turn around.
Absolutely.
So stay here. We need you. We're not better without you.
Your story and your life matters.
Absolutely. Everything matters.
And right? What happened to you is what qualifies you. That isn't what disqualifies.
It doesn't disqualify you.
No.
And I thank you for saying that. And that's the other thing too. Like the why me and the trauma and all the things. First off, just want to say this and then we're going to wrap. I used to feel like with my dad, right? Because people would say, man, look at the great ministry you have to the fatherless and how you're able to go in these schools, these prisons. Man, if you didn't go through what you went through with your dad, And I'm like, so what your side's saying to me is that God wanted my dad to get addicted to drugs and be alcoholic and leave me? So that what about him? Like, you know what I mean? It was like a side, but I think in a healthy sense, what they were trying to communicate was, or should have communicated, and what I try to communicate now is, I don't think that God desired for this bad thing to happen to him.
But since it did.
But in a broken world where humans we're given free agency, decisions are made, where sickness and disease happens because the culture, the creation is groaning for the creator and things are not perfect with all that stuff. Things are not the way they should be, and they're imperfect, which proves, and we're bothered by it, which proves we're made for perfect. We're bothered by time, which means we're made for eternity, which shows there's something different than this reality. It's philosophical, I'm sorry, but like that, because of that, when things happen that aren't the way they should be, and they're going to, I believe that God is saying, listen, if you would hand it to me, the Redeemer, the Creator, I will make all things work together for your good.
It.
I will turn everything around. And even though they made that choice to do this or to take their life or to be a bad father, or even though the health issue happened that nobody wanted, and Leslie's heart and all these things, that if you hand it to me, I will turn this around for your good. And that's, we can't control how these situations land. Yeah. And they're not perfect. But God can indeed take it, turn it around, and then use it to give somebody else hope in the same situation, including yourself. Absolutely. So I think there's a both and a dividing line of like, oh, well, this tragedy happened on purpose so that, you know what I mean? We gotta,
because that will be the narrative.
That's the narrative.
You know that's what, you know. So you know that somebody will take that. And so what you're saying is
right. It's not what you're saying.
Good.
And understandably so. If you're in a place where I ain't praying, I'm mad at God, you can hear that, and I'm not judging you for that. Right. We're just saying that I don't think that's God's heart. I don't think that's the case. But I do think if we say, listen, I don't understand. Life is hard. I need help. God will take that thing, and I'll tell the story of my kids' names one day. How He did that for me through their names, because we didn't plan that. He'll take it and say, if you'll trust me with this, I'll turn it around. And we believe everything can turn around for you, as in many ways as well. That's why we're here. This is the whole point of this thing. Absolutely. So love y'all, man. Hit the show notes, like, follow, and all the, please. Yeah, do the stuff. Yeah. And you can unblur JB's face now. Please, we out. See y'all.
Yeah.
Hey, man, thank you so much for watching this episode. Do me a favor. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Go to the show notes, do all the things, and let us know what you're feeling, because we'd love to hear from you. Appreciate you.